Mount & Blade Bannerlord is yet to receive an official release date, or year for that matter. However, it has been in development for a good few years now. My name is Stalli111 and today I shall be going over pretty much everything you need to know about Bannerlord in 2016. There still isn't an awful lot of information revealed, as Tale Worlds have been keeping a tight lip. But hopefully this video will act as a guide to newcomers, or allow you to catch up on everything major that we do know. Bannerlord is a prequel to Warband. It is roughly set 200 years before the events of Mount & Blade Warband, and will mostly focus on the decline of the Calredian Empire, along with the formation of the kingdoms that we see in the previous titles. The armour, weapons and architecture will draw inspiration from 600 to 1200 AD, within a real Europe and border regions. Bannerlord is being created within a new engine with overhauled capabilities. The gameplay, from what we have seen, has had a facelift, but the combat still seems a little clunky. However, that may not be a bad thing for long-term Mount & Blade fans. Do you remember the maps within each battle area or town? Well, they seem to have grown in size and detail, drastically. The areas actually feel like they are important rather than just a large field with a few trees dotted around, and having fairly empty towns. Technology within PCs and Tale World's own engine has allowed this to happen. The character creator is in full effect, with 7 categories for customization. Body, which allows you to adjust your character's weight, voice, age and skin colour. The next few are quite specific points of customization. Your general face, your nose, eyes, chin areas, along with a tab for your hairstyle and colour. The last tab isn't completely confirmed. However, it does look to have something to do with war paint or tattoos, by looking at it as a representative image. There is also a randomize option that will completely randomize your whole character, for players just wanting to jump straight into the action. The game is focusing on the downfall of the Calredian Empire, so the map will contain the whole of Calredia along with some of its bordering nations, especially further east and south. This makes the map of Bannerlord roughly 3 times the size of the map within Mount & Blade Warband. Many of you may know that the Mount & Blade games have had a passage of time system. Well, Bannerlord will have a prominent weather or season cycle. This means that you will encounter different flora and fauna at different times throughout the year. The weather will most likely be more harsh during the winter months, taking a toll on the horses and travel speed when snow is underfoot. And during the summer months there may be an increased export from your village's trade, with crops growing at a faster rate under optimal conditions. Within the Mount & Blade games we have been introduced to a wide variety of different factions, in which you can take a line with and follow their storyline, or just go lone wolf and try to conquer the world with the mercenaries at your back. Bannerlord has a few confirmed factions, some of which are rumoured to be predecessors of some factions we already know from released titles. The Sturgians, who are forest dwellers of the northern regions. They mainly specialise in wielding axes and on-foot warfare. These could be an early presence of Nordfolk from the Nordlands, much further north from the Calredian Empire. Then there are the Vlandians. These are of a vastly growing tribe. The Chieftains have recently proved the status of feudal lords, and are very well known to battle atop heavy cavalry, so recruiting in this area could prove valuable for swift attack maneuvers. The Kujates are a nomad group who have conquered many eastern cities with strong trade factors. They heavily rely on trade to keep their community afloat, due to having a very flat area of land untouched by forests. Next up is the Aserai. They are of heavy Middle Eastern influence, living in the Southlands, mostly within and nearby vast oases. The Aserai are very similar to that of the Saranid, so probably are predecessors to them during earlier times. The Battanians are known to be skilled exploiters of their natural resources, especially a lush woodland in which they mostly inhabit. Their favourite combat style is the element of surprise. The Battanians seem to be heavily inspired by the Scottish Celts or other well-established barbaric groups of the time. Lastly, the Empire, or Calredian Empire. This is the largest and probably the most powerful of all the factions at the start of the game. It will be based in the centre of the map, with very strong disciplined soldiers with brilliant and competent tactics along with advanced siege weapons, but sadly will host an abundance of flaws with its inevitable downfall. Well, that is, unless you can help it back onto its feet and fend off any attackers. During Gamescom 2015, Taleworlds released some gameplay which included sieges, heavily focusing on siege machines and showing the ability for the player to interact with them. This was done to show that the player will be able to interact with every single siege machine on the battlefield. The confirmed siege machines are only battering rams, siege towers and catapults, but more may be revealed later in the game's development. The player is also given the opportunity to decide an attacking tactic. For example, you will be able to decide whereabouts you want the siege weapons to be set up, and potentially your troops to attack from. Also, with these siege machines making an appearance, leads many of us fans to believe that there will be some destructible environment that will have to be repaired after battles to add a realistic element. But that's just speculation for now. The combat system has been updated slightly, with more reactive AI and realistic movements, but I'm sad to say I personally still think it looks clunky, but that doesn't really bother me that much. The AI will have their own tactics too. This will obviously change with difficulty, but they will often change their formations or attacking methods depending on the current situation on the battlefield, to ensure that they have a higher chance of winning and keeping many of their soldiers alive. So, that is a rundown of what you guys need to know at the start of 2016 for Mount & Blade Bannerlord. There are more details, but I think this video covers the majority of the important stuff. And I also have a few videos on my channel with deeper explanations and also my opinion on some of these features. So if you have any questions whatsoever, make sure to drop it in a comment below and I'll be glad to answer it in the best way I can. My name is Stalli111, make sure to drop a like, drop a comment and subscribe if you've not done so already, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace off.